These are nice cars. These are luxury automobiles. I got a whole place. They're fully loaded.
They're loaded with dead hookers.
Not either.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's a question. Who's this guy? Of course, most of you know the answer to that. That's former FBI lawyer Jim Baker, who then went to work on at Twitter as their chief censor. We've often called Vijaya Gadde Twitter's chief censor, but really behind the scenes, pulling the strings, it was this guy, an FBI plant at the platform. But the question isn't who is this guy, the question is, who the hell does this guy think he is? I think that's a much better question. Who do these rogue FBI agents think they are to censor the American public? These individuals took an oath to solemnly swear and affirm that they will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, those enemies against the Constitution are certainly domestic. In fact, it's them. And we're learning just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Like I keep saying, Mr. Jim Baker here and the online censorship department at the FBI weren't just working on compiling lists and censoring regular Americans. We're now learning that a rogue former FBI lawyer, Jim Baker, with deep connections and active connections working with the FBI as a proxy at Twitter, explicitly called to have the then sitting president of the United States banned from the platform for merely expressing an opinion that Mr. FBI lawyer didn't like very much. Doesn't exactly sound like upholding and protecting the Constitution from foreign and domestic enemies. Let's talk about this new bombshell release from the Twitter files. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, my private company. Twitter can do what they want. It's my private company. They can ban the sitting president of the United States, leftoids tell you, because they're a private company. Except as we're learning, like I keep saying, like we keep covering, it wasn't a private company decision at all, now was it? It was FBI influence, federal influence behind these decisions and behind the pressure to ban Donald Trump. FBI lawyer James Baker wanted Trump's optimistic tweet about the pandemic deleted. Elon Musk on Monday released another Twitter files drop, how Twitter rigged the COOF debate, by censoring info that was true but inconvenient to US government policy, by discrediting doctors and other experts who disagreed, and by suppressing ordinary users, including some sharing the CDC's own data. Disgraced FBI lawyer turned Twitter lawyer James Baker wanted Trump's optimistic tweet about the COOF deleted. David Zweig on Twitter writes, in a surreal exchange, Jim Baker, at the time Twitter's deputy general counsel, asks why telling people not to be afraid wasn't a violation of Twitter's misinformation policy. Yoel and Stacia, why isn't this POTUS tweet a violation of our policy, especially this particular part of the statement? I'm going to blur that part in the tweet and also in the picture as well of the email, just because you really never know with YouTube. But right here, what you're seeing is an FBI proxy at Twitter calling for the removal of Donald Trump's account, which of course leads to a strike and possible suspension and possible banning. We have an individual acting on behalf of the FBI's interest, asking to delete and suppress the president of the United States. That seems like two things. First off, it seems like friggin' treason, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. Individuals working for or with the FBI essentially work for the president. What you're seeing here could be interpreted as mutiny or a coup against the sitting president of the United States. And secondly, as we've been saying with all of this stuff, it's blatantly unconstitutional.
I'm telling you guys, it's wrong. It's wrong! It's wrong!
This is the President of the United States, for Pete's sakes, expressing his belief, releasing a statement, protected speech, and it should be, in my opinion, the most protected speech can possibly get, considering it's the friggin' president speaking. But individuals at the FBI, their egos have become so friggin' massive, so colossal, that I guess they believe they're controlling the White House. They believe that from the shadows, they have the right to be able to dictate what the president can and can't say with his platform. Shocking, shocking stuff. Once again, where is the friggin' outrage? Especially after the FBI added insult to injury last week with their ridiculous response and statement, claiming that it's just conspiracy theorists who are trying to put into question the credibility of the agency, trying to smear the agency with misinformation and lies. Here's the agency and their little lawyer plant at Twitter calling to censor the President of the United States. And this comes after their failed coup attempt, so-called Peter Strzok's backup plan to frame Donald Trump with phony Russian misinformation in an attempt to impeach and unseat him as a duly elected president. This is an FBI that is absolutely and undeniably out of control, completely out of control. And of course, if you think it ends there, of course not, it gets worse, because as we know, it's not just the FBI, it's also the federal government, at least the new incoming federal government. In the summer of 2021, President Biden said social media companies, I'm paraphrasing here, ending people for allowing misinformation on their platform. Alex Berenson was then suspended hours after Biden's comments and kicked off the platform the following month. Now we have internal communications documents directly implicating the Biden administration in this decision. One of the first meeting requests from the Biden White House was about misinformation. Per regular process, public policy took the meeting. Biden's staff focused on the jab and high-profile anti-jab accounts, including Alex Berenson. Here's an interaction from a private Slack channel inside Twitter. How was the White House? Exclamation mark, question mark. Overall, pretty good. They had one really tough question about why Alex Berenson hasn't been kicked off the platform. Otherwise, their questions were pointed but fair, and mercifully, we had answers. So now we have proof of two things. Well, we've already had proof of the Alex Berenson thing, but we have more details. We have proof that an FBI proxy was working at Twitter to influence the platform in censoring Donald Trump, and that the Biden administration was having regular meetings with Twitter to censor people's protected speech because it went against their narrative. Directly saying that the White House, Joe Biden's administration, requested Twitter to kick off Alex Berenson from the platform. That is the federal government, multiple elements of the federal government involved in online censorship of Americans' constitutionally protected speech. This is the bombshell of all bombshells. This is proof. This is undeniable, absolute proof that the private company argument is done. It's dead. The federal government and federal agencies were behind the big censorship push that we saw over the last 2 years. Stuff that I still have to deal with. The reason why I have to blur things. The reason why I'm extremely paranoid to be able to speak about certain topics or say certain words and things. It's the federal government that's behind all of it. It's no longer a conspiracy theory once again. You gotta drop the theory, it's a federal conspiracy. Once again, they called us wacky tinfoil hat lunatics, but once again, we were right about everything. Now the next step and the next question is, how do you get the GOP and the RNC to actually act? Instead of focusing on attacking Kari Lake, Donald Trump and his orbit, how about the RNC and the GOP focus on things that actually matter? You know, like protecting people's constitutional right to friggin' speak? I don't know about you guys, but I'm absolutely livid. I'm pretty sure you are as well. The question is, why isn't the GOP? That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.